All right, and we're back here on another special edition of Couch Coach Live on Thursday night under the lights edition. Here, episode 341. What's going on, Maui?
What's up, man? Man, we spent a lot of time together. This is a double header this week, huh? I don't think we seen each other this much since we was on the road.
Hey, man, a lot is going on this week. You know, like we always. Right. I think we got like our 4th or 5th year of doing the NFL schedule release show. So this is our annual edition here where we have our schedule release show. We got our guy X again. What's going on, X? How you doing?
What's going on, fellas? Glad to be back.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
I got a quick question, X. I got a quick question, X.
Yes, sir.
What was your Couch Coach Live experience the first day, man? How did that feel?
Oh man. Man, it was awesome, man. It was awesome. It was awesome. I had to get the butterflies out, but man, I felt
right.
It felt good. And then I listened to it again on Apple Podcasts. I was like, yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah. I felt the same way. You know, he was the nicest dude in the world, and then because I'm from Akron and he a Jordan guy, I was like, oh, he's so cool. I get on there, I'm just getting attacked. So, do you think LeBron is really the guy? I was like, what happened to the dude that I'm just kidding, but yeah, man, it's good times. You know what I mean? I've been here for a minute, man.
Yeah, and X, you're a natural. Obviously, you've been in high, in environments of not high anxiety, more so of and pressure cookers in media rooms. So this is a walk in the park compared to trying to talk to certain people in this area and also in this southern quadrant of the United States. So you. But we got a great show lined up for you tonight. So basically, this is going to be our NFL schedule release recap show. So obviously, last night the NFL released its full schedule. So tonight, we're going to we thought about doing it right then on Wednesday, but it was a lot to kind of process. I know, like for me, it felt like my head was spinning last night as far as everything, the matchups and everything. And so, hey, we hit on a Thursday night to kind of to recap it. So we'll go around the horn. We'll talk about our thoughts on the overall schedule. The week 1 slate, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about some primetime matchups, and that's including the Thursday, Sunday, and Monday Night Football games. So we'll kind of go around the horn, talk about some games that we're looking forward to watch. Then we also got a triple header games for the holiday. I didn't include Black Friday because essentially Black Friday isn't really a holiday; it's a standalone game. But we'll talk about our favorite holiday games. We got a triple header for Thanksgiving. Then we also got a triple header on Christmas, and then we'll put our bias cap on our 3 games for our prospective squads that we're looking forward to this upcoming season. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna kick that intro. We'll be right back here on Couch Coach Live. Yes, and we like that. Shout out to Big Kirko. We'll see you week 4 in Atlanta on September the 28th. So definitely looking forward to seeing Kirk Cousins, and he'll be on the bench, but as the Commanders go to Atlanta on week 4. So let's talk about the NFL schedule release, fellas. What a great annual tradition event that this has been, and obviously they have so many leaks throughout the week. I know when we was here on Tuesday night, we knew obviously who was going to kick off the season, the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles, and also with some leaks in between when we went on air Tuesday night, going into the schedule release last night at 8 o'clock. Obviously, we knew about the international slate. We knew a few things. So we'll just go around the horn, fellas. First, just your overall thoughts on the NFL schedule. I'm going to go with you first, X. Just your thoughts on the NFL schedule. Just some things that you kind of peeped while you essentially that you've seen.
When I saw the schedule release, I automatically thought, let me see who has the toughest schedule out of every team in the NFL. So what I did, I don't know why I did it, but I asked AI. So AI came up with this answer for the 2025 NFL season. The New York Giants actually are projected to have the toughest schedule. Is pretty much based on the 2024 win-loss records of their opponents and the projected 2025 win totals made by the Vegas odd makers. So,
interesting.
But following the Giants for the toughest schedule will also be the Philadelphia Eagles, the Cleveland Browns, the Chicago Bears, and the Detroit Lions as having the toughest strength of schedule. And the total win percentage for the teams that the Giants will be playing, going off last year's record, is a total of 0.574 win percentage. So
yeah.
So according to that, the Giants will have the toughest schedule. But you still have to see how it plays out as the season goes on. I don't think that'll stand true. I feel like somebody like Detroit or Philly or Washington is going to have the toughest schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. All right. What's your thoughts on the schedule, Maui?
With all the drama coming up, I look for the same thing. It definitely saying that the Giants has the hardest schedule. I'm looking to really watch the Giants because I think that with Russell Wilson and Tom Jamison, like everybody's at their last leg, the coaches, the GM, and all those things. So I'm just interested to see if they're going to, because no lie, in the NFC East, I think, they won a championship. Dallas has changed, I think. And then, everybody's favorite team right now, regardless, everybody loves Jaden Daniels. So everybody want him to basically have success. You know what I mean? So everybody's going to be watching that division regardless. But I think in the top 5, the Commanders do have the hardest. They're saying they had the hardest schedule. But what I looked at was, and I didn't put my team in this because I haven't been giving them any attention because I think we should have a quarterback right now, and we don't. We still have Jordan Knight from the New Kids on the Block, and we have man, I don't even actually. We got Brown. What's his name? Browning, the dude from Ohio State. Will.
Will,
what's his name?
Will Howard.
Will Howard. I'm actually happy that we have him I'm not even gonna lie because I spoke about it, but I haven't been really giving them my attention because I just don't like this Aaron Rodgers thing. I would have never thought that Mike Tomlin's Steelers would be in a predicament like that. You know what I mean? Especially what happened last year with Fields and Russell Wilson. That's just horrible. Moving on from that, I really wanted when I looked at the schedule, I wanted to see where the Pats is going to be, where the Patriots are going to be at, because they are they going to get back to where they were? I really don't. Josh Allen's okay. I think they give him too much, and I just think he's been running away with this Buffalo Bill thing, like domination. I just want to see if the Patriots are going to get back to where the Patriots were. Definitely want to see what Fields is going to do with the Jets and with the new coach. And last but not least, again, I like Jaden Daniels, so I want to see if that success that he had from last year move forward. So that's what I was looking at really with the schedule. And as I'm speaking this way, you got to clearly know that I'm full of it. I definitely was trying to pay attention to see what's going on with the Steelers, but I'm just gonna keep that to the side until I feel like it's time for me to really start talking trash, and that I've been very disappointed the last few years. So I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I think the schedule is always interesting, just as far as just how things are. Obviously, not surprising, but it's just one of the things when you see it, it's like, oh man, it's a great feeling. Obviously, with the Commanders having 8 standalone games, including 5 primetime games, it's just something that it's so funny. And I just talked about it on my other podcast, where I'm so used to looking at schedule. Every game is like at 1:00. Not this year. We got 4:25 games. We got a 9:30 a.m. game. We got 8:25 games, and it's just one of those where it's just like, wow. It's just amazing how 2 years ago this all changed. And I think that's one thing when you look at it, you're like, wow, there's no 1:00 games. You can actually enjoy your afternoon, your morning and afternoon. Okay, you can get ready. 4 games. I think we only got like 5 1:00 games. So, and then who knows how the season will progress, because obviously those games could potentially be flexed out. So, a lot of things could go in their favor. So that as well. All the international games, especially where they're headed, like as far as just obviously you got the Brazil game on September the 5th. That's the YouTube exclusive game. So that's going to be really interesting. Like that, I always now look at that Friday standalone game in week 1. Obviously, you got the London series. You got that. Then obviously the Commanders, one of the standalone games that I mentioned, that they're going to Madrid. So that's their first ever NFL first ever appearance in Madrid, as we go there to face the Miami Dolphins. So then obviously you got Dublin, going to Dublin, London, Berlin. So just looking out, it's continue to expand and that as well. And then these social media releases for these teams have been just nothing but hilarious to me. Obviously, you look at what the Bills, and it's funny because you said, hey, I really want to kind of dig in. Hey, did you actually go into ChatGPT or did you ask Allen Iverson? So the AI, I like how they had Allen Iverson. The Bills had Allen Iverson to read their schedule because Josh Allen, the league MVP, Josh Allen said, hey, well, just use AI. And then they called Allen Iverson, and he had the schedule there. So I like that was cool. The Colts, they had an interesting one. Kind of funny, but it's kind of low key, like kind of effed up. Obviously, because they playing the Miami Dolphins, so they had Tyreek Hill in the ocean, and he getting pulled over by the Coast Guard. So I'm like, and I know we kind of talked about that on our show. Arrested, what was it? I guess that was week 1 of last season. So kind of, we talked about that kind of. It was a topic that kind of, I wouldn't say it was uncomfortable. It was kind of one of those conversations where it wasn't really like it was something that we felt that was unjust. So kind of how that was interesting. So, and then also and then the Chargers, they once again they nailed out the park with their release. They also, and they had a point in their video where they had Patrick Mahomes Senior fight with John Rock. If you know, they have a little bit of a beef, and then they had Patrick Mahomes in the middle, and they pretty much turned him into a frog. So obviously, because he has that froggy voice, so you look at that, and then the Raiders. And one more thing, the Raiders kind of low key was trolling on their social media on their schedule release. So they trolled the Chargers. Obviously, they trolled to watch the Commanders. So obviously, they had a scene in there where you had Jim Plunkett throwing, passing the ball over to Marcus Allen, and he ran to the end zone. If you remember the historical significance of that, that was in Super Bowl. I want to say that was Super Bowl 18, where the Raiders beat the Redskins in that Super Bowl. What makes it mad for me, because I was supposed to be the Super Bowl baby. I was supposed to be the one, because I was conceived in January of 1984. It would have been on brand to say, okay, yeah. So the month that the Redskins would have won the Super Bowl, that would have been perfect. That could have been my origin story. Say I was a Super Bowl baby, but no, Marcus Allen ruined it. And then now September 21st, when they come to Northwest, we're gonna take it personal. So 1:00 game, they better pack their lunch. You got a long way from Las Vegas, so pack your lunch. Raiders. It's gonna get ugly. It's gonna get ugly. So yeah, that's my overall thoughts on the NFL schedule. But yeah, man, that we, but
hey, quick question, Coach, and you too, Mal. What did y'all think of the Jacksonville Jaguars schedule release with the
with Austin? What's the dude name? Austin. What's his last name? Austin. What's Austin's last name? With the dude with the ice in the routine. Yeah. I forgot Austin. What was I forgot what's Austin's name, Austin's last name. But yeah, that was funny though. It was interesting though. But Jacksonville always have had, like, in his past years, they've had some interesting schedule release ones. But yeah, I thought it was funny. It's and it made sense because he's from Florida, so why not bring him? And he's been such a viral sensation, and they're gonna have fun, especially now with Travis Hunter in the fold. They've been having fun with Travis Hunter, so that's one thing too. Where that's like, I know they like, yes. I know they like, I'm glad we traded for him, because I'm like, man, he gonna keep us with content forever. So yeah, but
what happened?
They did a good one.
I ain't see it.
Well, if you talk about the schedule release or just in general.
No, just the Jacksonville. What happened?
Oh well, so the teams do like schedule release. So
right.
What X was talking about. So it's a dude on social. It's a dude that goes viral on TikTok. I don't know his last name, but his name is Austin, and he do these ridiculous, like, get ready with me type of stuff. This dude would be like getting up at like 3:00 in the morning, brushing his teeth with this Saratoga water like this. He'll sleep with a black tape over his mouth, and they say that's good for like circulation and breathing. He do that type of stuff. He'll play basketball, and he'll have people feeding him grapes and feeding him bananas. Like, it's insane. Like he'll do the mock.
Then he'll take the banana peel and like rub it across his face.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
that's what's up.
And he had one where it was one because so he'll do like a day in the life, right? So he'll have like little stupid, he'll be like, he'll have somebody feeding him some cereal, and then he'll be on the balcony with his shirt off. Hey, Mr. Beast, you need $10,000 or more on this trade. He needs to be like, he just act like he's making these important phone calls. And that's what they did, like with the Jacksonville thing. So it was cool. I like how they did that because to kind of ride that wave. But yeah, Jacksonville, that social media is gonna be. They're gonna have fun.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that was funny. But yeah, these schedule releases, they're funny. Like, yeah, but the Commander one kind of fell short for me because I got confused. I had to watch like 3 or 4 times to understand what was going on. But But yeah, shout out to the social media, especially with the Chargers, man. The Chargers every year they knock it out the park. And that's usually the fun thing about the schedule release is when the teams release their when they release their schedule, like as far as on their social media networks. But yeah, it was fun. But yeah, that dude Austin is a trip, man, too. shout out to Saratoga Water. Because he the reason why like Saratoga Water went up like 200%. Like as far as the sales. Like
Saratoga Water.
Yeah, it's that big blue bottle. It's probably about this.
I
big.
got you.
Probably about like a liter. Probably like a liter bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, glass, but yeah, it's a trip. But yeah, so.
But what he also does is he'll take the water, pour it in a bowl with ice, take 2 lemons, squeeze it in there, and dunk his face in there.
He do a face bath, yeah. He do the face bath. he brush his teeth, and he brush his teeth with it too. Like he do all kind of stuff with that water. I'm like, dude. Yeah, it's a trip, man. Yeah. Yeah, matter of fact, because I gotta figure out his last name because I know it's that's let's see, Austin TikTok. But yeah, what is his name? Because I know that's gonna get. Because I know. Watch, I'm gonna remember. Once we done. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna figure this out. Is it Austin Wells? Is it Austin Wells? I think it's Austin Wells. I think that's his name. Oh no, that's not him. But yeah, he's hilarious. Cause he was at the Heat game maybe like a few weeks ago, right before they got eliminated. He was at the
So Austin White.
He was at the Heat. Is it Austin White? Austin White. I knew it was. But because he used to play football at Alcorn State.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if I could put up Alcorn. I think he went to Alcorn State, but he's ripped though. That's the thing about it. Like people be, they be clowning them, but I like dude ripped though. Like, because they be trying to clown them, but I'm like, hey, to be in that kind of shape, I'd be doing some stuff like that too. But yeah, so let's discuss now week 1 of the National Football League. So what are the game to watch for week 1 for you, X? What is a game to watch in week 1 for you?
The obvious choice for week 1 would be Bills Ravens. However, but only if Aaron Rodgers signs with the Steelers, then they would play the Jets week 1. I think I would only want to see that just out of pure entertainment, just to see how Rodgers would play against the Jets. Because it's some get back on his mind, and I'm pretty sure some get back on the Jets' mind too. So but that's only if he signs with the Steelers. But other than that, I'm gonna go with the obvious and say Bills Ravens.
Yeah. Okay.
Which?
All right. What you got, Mal?
X, I just want to tell you that is a horrible take. No, I'm just kidding, man. I don't want Aaron Rodgers, so I'm just playing. But that's great though, entertainment wise. I didn't even think about that, man. That is great. But man, please don't let that come true. Aaron Rodgers retire, go home and meditate. Nam Yoho Reggae, kill something.
Ayahuasca.
Man, I got a few. Yeah, man. eat some peanut butter and jelly sandwich or something. Like, I got a few, man, but I think I got the New York Giants versus the Commanders. Just to say, that's the game that I know for a fact I'm gonna want to watch. Like I said, I want to see if the Commanders push forward. I think they were so close. And then I want to see also. You got your boy from Tuckahoe, Virginia. Um, who is he? What was he? Coach Richmond. What?
The two-time Richmond Times Dispatch Player of the Year.
Okay, there we go. You know what I'm saying? Who I'm going to give him support because I know being a New York Giants quarterback, he's going to need it. You know what I mean? Because I really do think that they're going to try to do the blame game on him like they always do. Definitely, I'm going to be watching Cleveland, so the Cincinnati and Cleveland game. My family, like they really, just to see what's going to happen. Of course, we want to see what's going to happen with Shador. You know what I mean? I'm not even going to lie. But I think that this Buffalo Bill and Ravens game is the one because we all know that Lamar Jackson should have won MVP last year. If you look at the stats, Jackson 4,172 yards, 41 TDs, 4 interceptions, 119 passing rating to Allen's 3,700 passing yards, 28 TDs, and 6 interceptions, 101 passing rating. Should have been Lamar. And I've always felt like Lamar dominates the Cincinnati Bengals quarterback. He seemed like he always dominates him. When he's healthy, they dominate the division. But I just felt like Josh Allen and him is always, it's really not neck to neck, but I feel like they make them like they neck to neck. Like I knew Josh Allen was going to win the MVP last year because that's the only thing that we knew he wasn't going to get to the Super Bowl. I mean, as hard as he played, I don't care. I just knew that wasn't going to happen. So I was like, they're going to give him the MVP. So when he negotiated his contract, they're going to say, hey, he got MVP. That's just me. Everybody else going to go the other way, but it is what it is. But I'm definitely picking that game, Baltimore versus Buffalo.
Yeah, and I think that's like the consensus because obviously that's a rematch of the AFC divisional game where essentially you are essentially Baltimore was essentially a completed pass by Mark Andrews away from going to Kansas City in the AFC Championship game. So that's obviously I think one is this is going to be where it's going to be a really interesting that 4:00 window. It's going to be really intriguing. But I think the game I really want to see in this matchup in week 1 is probably going to be the Texans and the Rams. Both these is both playoff teams. Obviously, I want to see kind of now C.J. Stroud in his junior camp, his third year. So you look at that. And then I look at the Rams, and I think they're another team. I think, and a lot of people really talking about like as far as like Commanders being a contender, but the Rams are another team that was knocking at the door. They were, I think, like we talked about it on the show. I mean, January, quiet as kept. Maybe the snow was a factor in that second half. If they would have got it act together in the first half, I mean, we could have been talking about a different story. Where this Rams team could potentially have been in the Super Bowl. They pretty much played the Eagles just as close as anybody in the playoffs, maybe with the exception of Green Bay. But so you look at that Rams team, they'll be at home, and this is gonna be really interesting. It's a nice AFC NFC matchup. So I look at that as one in that 4:00 window. But obviously, for me, the one I'll definitely be watching is Giants and the Commanders. But like that 4:00 window, if I'm not watching Gascon Hansen giving us 7 hours of uninterrupted football in that 4:00 window, it probably I'll tune in spot to the Rams and the Texans. I think that's the one. I think I'm not as far as outside of that matchup, and then also too. That Lions and Packers game is really intriguing too. That's at 4:25 as well too. So that's kind of one of those kind of maybe a picture kind of game potentially. Where obviously you look at the Packers, they're another team. Another I think is a contender as well. Then want to see what Detroit especially following their loss last year as well. Trying to see what these, in these two matchups, they're definitely, I think, will all be playoff teams potentially. So it's definitely going to be a lot of intrigue in week one for sure.
Yeah.
I noticed it's a lot of divisional games week 1 too. So that also gives teams like a leg up in the division. So if you have a divisional game, if you're playing a divisional opponent week 1, you might want to come out and get it done so you can have a leg up in the division.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah, especially in the North. I mean, you think we talk about the NFC East. Those, you got two matchups in the NFC East with Washington and the Giants, and then also Dallas and Philly. And then you also got, like I talked about, Green Bay and Detroit. And then the sneaky Monday Night Football game to end week 1. You got the Vikings and the Bears. That's another team where they're at crossroads because are they kind of going to interchange? Because not all 4 of them teams going to make it out the North. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just counted. It's 8. It's 8 divisional games week 1.
Yeah.
And I might want to take my pick back from the Ravens and Bills and go with this Chiefs and Chargers game that's on Friday on YouTube.
Brazil.
I overlooked it. But yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting, especially with them going to Brazil. That's gonna be really especially considering the fact this is a neutral site game, so it's gonna definitely be kind of where. And they're another team.
I ain't mean to interrupt you, Coach, but with the Chargers being, so this is gonna count as a home game for the Chargers, right? So they're not gonna.
So I think so. Yeah, it's a home game because we thought we were going to Brazil. But yeah. So it's a home game for the Chargers.
Okay.
Yeah. Because a lot of people was thinking Washington was gonna go to Brazil instead of Madrid. But yeah. So like you said, that's the thing about these divisional games, and that's the thing too, where like I said, with the Bears and the Vikings, that's another one too, where especially. I definitely think Chicago's going to be a way lot better this year. So now there you want to see now J.J. McCarthy's first game is going to be under the lights at Soldier Field. So it's going to be kind of interesting to now how this Minnesota team is now, especially in the post Sam Darnold era. So obviously now insert J.J. McCarthy. And now, you want to see what he can do with this Minnesota Vikings team. And they're another team that's, even though, like I said, they lost the quarterback, but they still got a lot of promise there. Obviously, defense is going to be great, obviously, with Mike Flores. They're also bringing in a guy like a Jonathan Allen from the Commanders. So that Vikings team is another dangerous team in the NFC North. And that's one thing, too. I really want to see how the North plays out. And like you said, it'd be a good little barometer, a good little storyline going into the second week and see who's gonna survive that week 1 gauntlet. So it's gonna be fun. Week 1 has got a great slate.
Do you think the NFC North gets 3 teams in the playoffs again this season?
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean because I think the team that was in last place is probably gonna take. I wouldn't say the biggest lead because I can see. Detroit, I don't necessarily think Detroit's going to be the number 1 seed. I definitely think they'll be up there. They're a playoff caliber team. Green Bay, I think, is definitely a playoff team. Yeah, Minnesota, it's iffy because obviously you got the J.J. McCarthy angle. But I still think Kevin O'Connell's still a great coach. I think he could potentially – they'll be kind of that fringe team potentially. I don't necessarily think they're going to have a year like they did last year where they was actually – compete for the number 1 overall seed. They pretty much was a game away, a win over Detroit away from becoming the number 1 seed in the NFC. And did that Bears team, especially now with Ben Johnson in the fold, getting the trenches together, and then also the weapons that the Bears got in the offseason. I definitely think Caleb Williams is going to take a leap in his second year, especially now having an offensive-centric coach in Ben Johnson, and also, with Antoine Randall and them in the fold. So, yeah, because I don't even know who's going to be the fourth team out. Like, who's going to be last in the North? Because, because the team who was the worst improved the best, the most.
Well, I'm biased. I'm picking Detroit to win the North.
For real?
It's possible, yeah.
No, I'm not hating. I'm just saying.
Because I think we're not going to see again this season what we saw last season, where it took 15 games to win the division. I'm guessing this year it's going to take 11 to 12 games to win the division.
Oh, okay.
And I think with our schedule being a tough schedule, I think we can get to those 12 wins.
You're a Lions fan.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey man, you know how? Hey man, I didn't think that was gonna happen in January, though. I'm gonna be real with you,
man. Injuries finally caught up to him.
And yeah, and you'll have a healthy Aiden Hudson, and like you said, it'd be healthier because your secondary went down pretty much as well too. So yeah, and like I said, because even though with the loss of Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, I still think this still is a well-oiled machine, and that's the thing where I don't necessarily think Detroit may be the number one seed in NFC again, but then I don't think they're gonna miss the playoffs. I know, so like to me, if gut to head, who I think would make the playoffs probably would be Detroit and Green Bay, at least. Yeah. And I see Minnesota, and I see at least Minnesota and Chicago, at least playing competitive football up until the end of December. I mean, we're really on in December. I mean, yeah, because quiet is kept. The Bears, I'm telling you, they are really a batted ball away from potentially almost having a playoff year last year. I mean, because I think the Hail Mary, it killed them, because you think about it, they went almost like a 10-game losing streak, and then you just look at even the execution towards the end of those games, even like the Thanksgiving game where they had no business losing that game on Thanksgiving. Especially the way they did the poor clock management.
Yeah.
And so you think to yourself, it was a lot of stuff, and you got to think to yourself, it had to be some of that residual funk from the Hail Mary game, because they were coming into that game, they were 4-2. They were another team that was emerging. And now coupled with they kind of fixed their deficiencies. So it's kind of one of those where yeah, the North is going to be tough. The North is going to be extremely tough.
It's always tough.
Yeah. The East going to be tough too.
Oh yeah, for sure. The East, yeah. Because the East is going to be tough, because I still think you're going to have 3 solid teams that could potentially make it in the East. Versus in the North, I can make a case for all 4 of those, and like literally like. And it's possible that you all 4 can make it. I mean, quiet is kept. But, yeah. It's crazy. So,
right.
We talked about games under the light. So we definitely got to talk about our 3 primetime matchups to watch. And these are games that are consisting on Thursday night, Sunday, and Monday night. And if you do want to talk about the Sunday, I know we talked about the Friday night game in Brazil. If y'all want to talk about that, that's fine. We can kind of go back over that as well. But your 3 primetime games that you have circled this season, some games that you're looking forward to watching. We'll go with you first, X. What you got?
So I have the Lions Ravens Monday night game. I also have the Washington and Kansas City Monday night game. And then I'm going to say the Ravens and Bills Sunday night game.
Okay. All right. And what you got, Mel?
Man, I got the Bears versus Washington, October 13th at 8:15 p.m. Basically Williams versus Daniels. Then I got Washington versus the Chiefs Monday night game, and then I got Detroit versus the Eagles Sunday night game on my birthday, November 16th at 8:20. And we all know why. I mean, I'm sorry, X. I respect the Lions. I didn't believe. I'm being honest with you. I didn't believe, but then eventually I became a team that, you just like watching it entertainment wise. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't believe Coach when he was like, "I'm telling you, Sean, for like 2 years, I'm telling you, this Lions team about to make a move." 2 years, and then I remember when they got cheated in the game against the Cowboys. Was that was that a playoff game?
Which
that
one?
was
It was twice we've
it was said it
was
oh yeah, it was a playoff game and was one this weekend before Christmas game.
Oh, you're talking about the one in the it was a late season game. It was in December.
Yeah.
It was like a week.
It was at Saturday.
Yeah.
It was like a week. It was Saturday before Christmas.
16, week 17 game.
Yeah,
when the guy they said he didn't check in. Yeah, when they said he didn't check in, but he had the evidence that he checked in. So when you already see it was a lot of variables. It was they cheated, and then the simple fact that because we do podcasts and you investigate, they brung everybody back. You know what I'm saying? Where they could have went, a lot of the coaches or coordinators could have went other places to get paid. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm with you now, coach. They're going to be dangerous. You know what I mean? But then so I think they want some get back this year. So them going up against the Eagles and, and then the Eagles at this point in time, all of a sudden, you know how it is. Everybody's an Eagle fan. I'm like, yo, when was you an Eagle fan? So they're getting kind of annoying right now. I ain't even gonna lie. So definitely on my birthday at 8:20 Sunday, Detroit versus the Eagles. Let's go Lions.
I like that.
So for my primetime games, so I'm gonna stick with a golden rule for mine. So I'm not going to talk about any Commanders games on my end because I'll save them for my top three. So I think the first matchup, and I'm gonna go basically like Thursday night football. So there's a sneakily good week 8 game, October 23rd, Minnesota versus the LA Chargers. That's another one where these are two. I think they're gonna be an interesting crossroads in that season. For both squads. So I definitely think there's a potential there where you can look at that game and be like, wow, I think that could be that could be somewhat of a matchup, even though it may not count as far as the standing wise, but I think it's gonna be an interesting matchup, especially on a Thursday for them. So a Sunday night football game that really, really like low key intrigues me. And these may not be like these three aren't really like sexy in a sense, like as far as it doesn't have like that flash. A game that I'm really looking for on a Sunday night football game, it's gonna be a cross between. So they got they'll probably still stay the same. This Cincinnati and Miami week 16, and then also Chicago at San Francisco week 17. I think that week 17, against I want to see what the Bears, what they can do going to Santa Clara, and because I think week 17 is the 29th. Sunday night is going to be the 28th. So it'll be that Sunday after Christmas. I really want to see, because I still think San Francisco. Do I think they're going to be like that team that we've seen like 11, 10 plus wins going to the NFC Championship game? Not necessarily, but I think they can kind of crash the party. They are at a point where San Francisco's at a crossroads. It's like kind of make or break for them. And I definitely think they'll still be playing meaningful football in the month of December. And for them to have a home game against a Bears team where I think it's going to be critical for them to win a game like this on the road. And I think this will be something that this could be one of those where if the Bears lose, they could be out of playoff contention, vice versa, going into that Week 18 matchup in the final week of the season. So I definitely think the Bears will be playing for something. Don't necessarily think San Francisco, I don't necessarily think they'll be spoiled, but I think they'll also be in the mix as well, too. So I think this could be like maybe a potential matchup for the 7th seed in the NFC, in my personal opinion. So that's kind of one of those two. And then to piggyback on yours, X, you just can't deny, Detroit at Baltimore week 3. Obviously, Jared Goff and the boys going to the Avenue. So, and this is somewhat of, and this could be somewhat of a quasi Super Bowl preview. These are both two teams that are still knocking at the door. A lot of people may think certain windows have closed. Obviously, you think Baltimore. I mean, you think about it. If they had a couple plays executed their way, this team could be they could have been hoisting a Lombardi. Detroit is another team where a lot of people are looking at, well, you had this great start, then you obviously lose in the divisional round, and then you lose your 2 coordinators. People spell that as doom, but the window hasn't closed for Detroit yet. And this could be a matchup where we could potentially see this in Santa Clara on February 8th of 2026. So this could be a precursor to a February 8th matchup. Super Bowl 60. We shall see. But I look at that as kind of some matchups to watch. And I think these are more so on the lines of, I think there's going to be so much like playoff implications in these games, for the exception of Detroit and Baltimore, but solid matchups down the line for sure. And yep. All right, so fellas, we talked about the prime time. Let's talk about some holiday football. And once again, NFL, please close your ears and eyes, because we get ready to talk about football on Christmas, and I know that's Adam Silver's worst nightmare. So we'll talk about. We'll just go around the horn. Our 2 holiday games that we have circled on the calendar. So we got Thanksgiving, Thursday, November 27th. My favorite holiday of the year. A triple header. You have the Green Bay Packers versus Detroit Lions. Then you also have the Kansas City Chiefs at the Dallas Cowboys. And a nightcap that nobody's going to be watching because we all going to be on a food coma is Cincinnati at Baltimore on the Avenue. And then on Christmas, we have a triple header there where we have the Dallas Cowboys, a.k.a. the Arlington football team, coming to Northwest to face the Washington Commanders. Then we got Detroit at Minnesota. So you're going to actually going to Minnesota for Christmas.
Yes, sir.
And then we got Denver and Kansas City, Minnesota.
Don't you know? Go ahead, my bad.
Don't you know? You're going to Minnesota for Christmas.
Don't you know?
So go around the horn, fellas. X, what are your 2 holiday games that you have circled on the calendar? What are your must watch for the holidays?
All right. Well, I'm not gonna pick any line games for the holidays. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna go with the 2 Christmas games. I'm thinking I'm going with the Dallas Washington game, and then I'm going with the Denver Kansas City game, because the it's week 17, and I feel like all three games could potentially have playoff seedings on the line. What's your position in the division? So I feel like the Dallas Washington game is going to pretty much determine the fate of the NFC East as far as who is going to make the playoffs and who's going to miss it. And I honestly think this Denver and Kansas City game is going to be who wins the division, because I can see Denver playing to the level of Kansas City through the whole season and challenging them for the AFC West.
All right. What's what are your holiday games to watch?
I got the two games I got is Dallas versus Washington, 1 p.m. on Netflix. So X, I mean, X, come on now. Like I'm the Red Bull guy in my area. So the economy go well when them two teams play in this area. So I'm already thinking how many cases I'm gonna throw out there in some of these bars. And I'm just kidding. We already know, like, for this area, that's like the Super Bowl, and it's really a gift to the NFC East fans to have it on Christmas. You know what I'm saying? So on Netflix, like, you know what I mean? 1 p.m. So I think that around here, like I said, around our area, DMV, even down there in the Hampton Roads, up there in the mountains, Charlottesville, you know what I'm saying? They're going to be watching this game. You best believe they're watching this game. And then my second one, of course, is I'm freestyling, but the battle of supposedly the American team. We always knew that the Cowboys are supposed to be the American team. They're saying now that the Cowboys is not the American team, and it is the Kansas City Chiefs. And so I'm like, I'm freestyling. That is going to be the battle of the American team.
Okay.
It's very interesting. Yeah, I think when it comes to the playoffs, not playoffs, but when it comes to the holiday games, I think in my personal opinion, I want to circle is going to piggyback to your point, Mal. I got Kansas City at Dallas. It's going to be a homecoming for Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes from Talon, Texas.
That's right.
So he'll be home for the holidays. So it's going to be interesting of how these teams will be in Week 13. Obviously, how will Kansas City look? Obviously, we've seen them kind of have a dominant regular season for these last few years. Will that kind of dominance happen again in this year? So you look at that. And then the Christmas day, the Christmas night game, Denver and Kansas City. That's going to be like you said, that's going to be a divisional game. And this one, I think, could potentially have playoff implications for both. I don't necessarily think it's kind of one of the things like if you win the West. I think it could be a situation where Kansas City could be at a point where, hey, they could be compete maybe for the top seed in the AFC potentially, and then you have Denver competing for a wild card spot, or maybe even a part of the AFC West. So it's kind of one of those where it's going to be really interesting how both of those play out. But I do want to give an honorable mention, like as far as that Green Bay versus Detroit. And that's funny because I remember this matchup 2 years ago where this was pretty much a springboard for Jordan Love. That was Jordan Love's coming out party. From then, that's when everybody starts seeing like, okay, yeah, this dude is for real. That's when he especially when Green Bay really wasn't playing for nothing at that particular time, and they came out and won, almost early 2 years to the date. So now you're looking at it from a standpoint of, and interesting how both of these teams, like we talked about them in the week 1 matchup, then the match, you fast forward to week 13, how these two teams will look in that week. So yeah, man. So many great holiday matchups, and yeah. So I guess this year no frills for who knows? I know Beyonce ain't coming to FedEx, Northwest for sure. Not in that cold weather. I don't know where she go. She might go to Minnesota. She may go to Minnesota, but now she's not coming to Kansas City. That for sure.
It's
Kansas
too
City
cold,
or Washington. It's too cold. It's too cold for anything. But yeah, she might perform in Minnesota, but because how Netflix gonna try to do. They're probably gonna have something in Minnesota. So because ain't nobody performing in the cold in DC for sure.
Right.
But yeah. So, fellas, we'll go around the horn. We'll go pretty much 3 games from your squad that you have circled this season. So I'm gonna go with you first, X. What are your 3 games to watch for your squad, your Detroit Lions?
Ravens, Chiefs, Rams.
Okay, that was quick.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Ravens, Chiefs, Rams.
Do I have to? I'm just kidding. So I got December 21st versus the Lions. I got the very last game. They didn't put the date or the time against the Ravens because I'm sure that is going to be an important game. And then blood pressure. And on my birthday, November 16th, they play against the Bengals. It was very, my team, they could start off great. Then all of a sudden, something about October and November, sometimes they get mixed up. But like last year, they start playing well and a little bit in the beginning of the season. And then October, mix up. And then I don't know what happened. Like soon as that mid-season HBO show came on, it was all downhill after that. Embarrassed on Netflix. But anyway. I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah. Obviously, for my first one is I'm gonna go in actually the order of the season. So, week 2, Thursday night football against the Green Bay Packers. I think it's gonna be a really great game. Obviously, that's gonna be the 24th anniversary of September 11th. So it's gonna be kind of interesting how that day will be. So obviously, it'll be the debut of Thursday night football in the Amazon setting. So definitely be interested. I'd be looking forward to that game. Like I said, 6:59, turn on your Amazon Prime. It'll load up and you'll be right at it at 7:00. So just get on the app early, about 6:55. Give yourself some time, and then tell the Rooks to be on there about 7:20. And that's a running joke around here. So tell the Rooks. Hopefully, I don't know if I will really pay attention to her, especially in this time frame. With obviously, with Washington being there, probably be so focused, especially coming off a short week. So it's gonna be interesting. Wow. I want to sincerely thank Roger Goodell for some bizarre reason. I have another birthday game this year. Obviously, last year, the Washington Commanders and the Chicago Bears played the Hail Mary game. And now in week 8 on my birthday, we have the Kansas City Chiefs and the Washington Commanders. And it's funny because it is so weird to sit down and think. So obviously, the last time that the Commanders played at Arrowhead during the regular season was October the 2nd of 2017. And it's funny because when I went there and I was like, man, next time they have a game, I'm gonna be 41 years old. And lo and behold, 8 years later, that's going to happen. So, and it's going to be such a ruckus crowd. it's gonna be fun. It's gonna definitely be. It's one of the best atmospheres in sports, at Arrowhead, and it was thinking about even the matchup 8 years ago, how we were so tantalizing close to winning that game, and that was Patrick Mahomes' red shirt year where he was a rookie, didn't even play. So that was the Kirk Cousins versus Alex Smith matchup.
I remember that.
You got Jaden Daniels versus Patrick Mahomes, and this could be somewhat of a Super Bowl preview potentially, but I digress on that point. And then obviously Christmas Day versus Dallas, and it's another rivalry renewed. It's funny. You look at this could be potential of another burgeoning rivalry. Obviously, we've played each other on Thanksgiving, and we've had so many memories on Thanksgiving. Now, potentially this could be a start of another tradition where we play on Christmas. And it would be really interesting, especially if this game is close. Maybe we'll play Dallas again because we know now how the NFL is set up. They're playing Christmas Day games every year, regardless, even if it's on a Wednesday. Yep, somebody's playing on Christmas Day. So that's going to be great, and obviously that'll be the season, the home finale for the Commanders too in that Week 17 matchup. But yeah, I mean, who would ever thought that the Commanders and the Cowboys would play on Christmas? We played on Thanksgiving, we played on other days of the week, but now Christmas has such a great ring to it. So man, it make you wonder. Like it's gonna be really interesting because now people gonna have to make sides. People gonna have to, hey, is you going to the game? Is you going to the game, or you'll be with your family?
Right. Yeah, that Alex Smith, that game. Didn't you go to it in Kansas City?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that game. Yeah, the boys played their hearts out.
Yep, and it was funny because I said when I went to Arrowhead, I was like, dang. So the next time they play again, I'll be in my 40s. I'll be 40. That's like, and then lo and behold, because that was 8 years ago. Yep. And lo and behold, and they playing on my birthday. But that's so crazy. Once again, Roger Goodell, man, and the schedule makers, man, y'all did the big one for me, man. I appreciate it.
He must be a Couch Coach Live fan. Like, let me see what Coach doing. What can I do to make him happy?
And it's so funny because I kept on thinking. I was like, I thought about it. It was so weird because I knew obviously my birthday's on a Monday, so I was like, okay. I said, wouldn't it be something if we have a Monday Night Football game? But then they leaked it. Like, are you effing kidding me? You cannot make this ish up. Like, are you got to be kidding me? That this game is on week 8 on Monday, and week 8 is October 27th. I'm like, you cannot make this ish up, man. You cannot. But
interesting.
And then honorable mention, we got a game on your birthday, Maui. We going to Spain. So we got a 9:30 game, so that's gonna be fun. And I'm kind of, I don't know. It's gonna
be a horrible game.
I'm apprehensive. I'm apprehensive because the last time, because at first I thought we were going to, for some odd reason, I thought we were going to escape the international thing because we haven't played overseas since like 2016. And that game
who y'all playing?
The Cincinnati Bengals. We playing the Dolphins. But when we played Cincinnati in 2016. Oh my God! You talk about. I'm telling you, I know for certain. I think I took a few years out of my life in that game 9 years ago. I couldn't stand. I couldn't even sit down. It was just too chaotic. Obviously, that's the when my guy who was the field goal kicker the dude from Florida State. Oh, Dustin Hopkins missed up that missed the field goal, and then we ended up having a tie game in Cincinnati. And that's kind of helped us and kind of hurt us because obviously that year we ended up losing to the Giants and didn't make the playoffs. So, man, I'm telling you, that international game drove me crazy. But the beauty thing about it was
versus the Commanders. I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah, but yeah, the beauty thing about it was at least it was over by 12, by 1 o'clock. I went about the rest of my day, but I was stressed as hell though.
Man, I'm nervous about that game. I know if I was an NFL player going to Spain, hey coach, you might want to limit my minutes. Why is that, Sean? We in Spain, and I went out by the water. Matter of fact, I ain't never leaving. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, like, 'cause I know it's some good looking things up in that jump. That's
The way
different.
things set up in the way things going now, and especially now with the owner of the New Jersey Generals and the USFL, I ain't going nowhere. Like that dude here they had me being in these countries and being exiled. No, I'm good. I'm good. Not with the owner of the New Jersey Generals. Nope, I'm good. Nope.
No. That's why I said Spain and Brazil. I'm like, oh man, them dudes.
Yeah. But they said, but remember they was talking about how they didn't want the Eagles and the Packers last year to wear green, and they was telling them to stay in the hotel. I'm just like, what? Like that was a point of traveling. Like I'm not wanting to stay in a hotel. Like I got like. It's weird. That's why I was like. That's why I just found it weird. Like when they had those stipulations with the Eagles and the Packers last year, I'm just like, well, just let them play in Philadelphia and just call it a day.
Yeah,
right.
It was kind of pointless to have them
Right. Shout out and Malik Willis had to come in and spot duty. Yeah, man. And the only thing I'm surprised our matchup on November the 9th is not prime time. That was odd to me because I was like, and I kind of figured because I get it because when we play y'all because we got the Monday Night Football game, then we got the Sunday Night Football game on the 2nd. So I understood like kind of why we might, but I figured we would have been in a window where we should have been prime time because that's a playoff rematch.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been perfect.
Which game you talking about?
In fact, when we play y'all, Washington and Detroit, November the 9th.
Yeah.
Week 10.
Yeah. So but I kind of figured because of the fact that going into it, before the schedule came out, I figured that was gonna be one of the primetime games. Obviously, it's a playoff game because that's why I was shocked that we play in Seattle on Sunday Night Football on the 2nd.
Yeah, like why?
And I understand Seattle is kind of you got the Sam Darnold Cooper Cup angle. They're still a team that could still make the playoffs potentially, but they're still kind of on the fringe because I definitely now when you're looking at the Rams, I think are going to be leaps and bounds better in the NFC West. So I don't know. I thought that was rather odd. But and then I guess you really don't want to have commander fatigue because you think to yourself that's a window where we're on it. I mean, you think from October 13th to the game against Madrid. I mean, we got 13th to 27th, so we really have like 4 standalone games in that 5-6 week window. So I definitely, if as far as that's the irony of the schedule, like I definitely thought Detroit was going to be on there for sure.
Do you think they could change it?
I mean, it can be flexed out. It can be flexed out, but
no, go ahead.
Yeah, it can be flexed out, but I don't think they're gonna because just the simple fact of you playing the week before on Sunday Night Football. I don't think that we're gonna be on back-to-back weeks. You really gonna have commander fatigue if they put us in week 10 versus Detroit. But yeah.
X.
Yeah.
X, I got a question. For what happened last year in the playoffs, wouldn't you want that game? If the Lions had a choice, wouldn't you say, hey, yeah, we want that game in prime time? Like, we understand they got a fatigue, they need to get some oxygen. I just feel like the way that game was, I would think the Lions would want that definitely be in prime time.
Yeah, I would either Sunday night or Monday night. It should have been either or.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
it was what the
Yeah,
425 game is considered what the America's game of the week. So,
yeah, probably. Yeah, Tom would be there. Tom would be there.
So I mean, I'm not mad that it's a 425 game, but I kind of wish it was a primetime game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think if my memory serves, I think that's going to be a 4. Yeah, because that's a 425 game. So you have everybody pretty much. You'll have we'll have Tom, Kevin, Aaron, and so we'll have probably those. Yeah, probably more likely. Yeah,
but they won't. They're not going to do it because week 6 and week 7 we have the Chiefs on Sunday night, and then the following week we got Tampa Bay on Monday night. So I know they're not going to do that twice for us, because after we play Washington week 10, week 11 we play the Eagles on Sunday Night Football. Now I'm gonna scratch the Rams off my list, and I'm gonna add the Eagles to that.
Oh yeah, because that's who I thought y'all probably play week 1. I thought that was gonna be part of the matchup, either them or us.
I wanted that one for week 1. I wanted that one because they did it. They gave us the Chiefs that year, and we went to Kansas City and we won. And I wanted the Eagles in week 1, but what they did to like week 10 through 15, we have Washington, then the Eagles, then the Giants, then we got the Thanksgiving game against Green Bay, then we turn around and play a Thursday night game against Dallas, then we got the 425 game after that against the Rams. So we got a nice little gauntlet from week 10 to 15.
And that's the thing where it's so many matchups. That's why I was like I said, it's and same go for us, because we ain't gonna be no way they're gonna put us after all those primetime games that we got already. Expect there, they'll have a fit. But because even after that, Madrid and then the bye week, and then after the bye week, we got a Sunday Night Football game against Denver. So it's and then quiet as kept. I mean, that week 18 matchup against Philly might be a Sunday Night Football flex, or it could be that Saturday flex. It could be that Saturday game on NFL Network.
See, we got Chicago week 18, and it's date and time to be determined. And I think we're on the road, so it's gonna be cold.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be a cold.
Yeah, because for sure. And they said they got us either January 3rd or 4th. So I'm assuming if I had to bet a steak dinner, I probably think we're probably gonna be that Saturday 4:35 NFL Network game in week 18. Because I don't necessarily think we'll, because I can't see us being a 4:25 game on the 4th. Because I think something that's going to be a meaningful game, but I don't necessarily think it's going to be a end all be all. Like as far as okay, whoever wins the game is going to win the division. I don't necessarily think that's going to be the case, but I definitely think there's going to be some implications where almost similar to what I talked about earlier, as far as not Green Bay, but Denver and Kansas City, where there's a window there where they could be playing for different spots, not necessarily for a singular spot. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. That's the thing I like about the schedule is like as far as now you kind of plan out the rest of the year. Just and that's like for me, it's like all right, okay, how my Sunday is gonna look in the fall. So I think that's the beautiful thing about having the schedule release and kind of knowing where your team is gonna be, and, especially
I have
now.
No comment.
Yeah, and now you don't have to necessarily worry about having a mundane schedule where it's like okay, 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Nah, the day's over with. So glad that's over. And X, you know how that is. X, you know how that used to be. 1 o'clock games every week. You're like, come on, man. Like,
He petty, bro. He petty. Look,
but no, but X,
yeah, but like, see, what Detroit got the time? Aren't they an hour behind? So their 1 o'clock game is like a 12 o'clock for
12,
them.
I think. Are they Central Time?
No, they same time as us.
Oh, no, I think same time. Yes, I was thinking too. Yeah.
It's same time.
Only Chicago.
On phone them. You so silly, bro. You're so silly. But hey man, I'm telling you, I ain't nowhere near to be talking any trash. I like just to hear that Watt has never won a playoff game. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. Like he said, I've never won a playoff game, and you hear that, and you look at Tom and like, he start looking at him up and down, like, hold up, like what you mean he ain't never won?
Yeah, because y'all haven't almost what it'd be 10 years in January since the last time y'all won a playoff game. Because matter of fact, I remember because that was the first time that they had that Sunday night football. Well, the wild card game at night. Because remember, it used to be the 1 o'clock and the 4 o'clock window. Because now they got it to a point where they got it now where they have a night game on Sunday night football for the wild card round.
Right.
And then they got a standalone on Monday, right?
On Monday, yeah. On MLK Day, yeah. And I was either gonna be the Cowboys or the Rams or somebody. Go. But
man, please don't sign Aaron Rodgers. Please don't sign Aaron Rodgers.
And Pittsburgh will be dumb at this point to do it because it's just like it's May. It's like halfway. Man, next week is Memorial Day. Like OTA's coming up.
So they're gonna ride out with what, Mason Rudolph?
Mason Rudolph.
No, Jordan Knight from the New Kids on the Block. He got the right stuff,
Right. No, and it's just like
I was talking to the guys before the draft, and I think Will he may not be I think he kind of is a Steeler type of quarterback where he wins, but he got issues in certain places that they say attributes maybe throwing down the field or something like that. But like we lucked up with Ben Roethlisberger. There was a bunch of drama for us to even get him. You know what I mean? Appreciated Eli Manning, but I don't know. Maybe this quarterback that they got from Ohio State, like he don't, maybe he can go in there and do some things, But
and the thing with Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he's not worth it at this point. Like, I mean, I can understand if you signed him in January. Granted, if you signed him like, well, not January, but like in the free agency, like the first week, so you get to the facility, kind of work with DK, work with the wide receivers, Faramu and all them. But it's May 15th. Like we are like 2 or 3 weeks away from OTAs, and we're about a month away from the dead period where nothing goes on. Everybody's on a boat, getting the hell out of Dodge until the third weekend of July. Well, really, training camp probably gonna start earlier this year because the games is on the 31st. So yeah, we're about to hit the dead period where everybody just is exiled from the facility. Everybody, hopefully, nobody, knock on wood, nobody commit no crimes or nothing happened in that dead period in about 3 or 4 weeks from now. But it's done. I mean, this literally what we call this is the 11th hour. This and being a quarterback ain't no Johnny come lately type of situation. He need to have his ass in that facility. He need to be punching the card every day, getting in that facility and getting some throws with the guys. You stuck with Mason
Like
Rudolph,
seriously.
unfortunately.
And then the other thing is, it's the Steelers. So like, it's one of those organizations where if you're gonna sign with them, you need to get in there and then get like the community behind you. They like Russell Wilson did it right. You know, they were dogging him in other places. Like Broncos, it didn't look good. Even though you can say he was somewhat of a success, but it didn't look good. The media really tore him up. But then when he got signed by them, you could see him putting the jersey on, getting out there, meeting the community. You know what I'm saying? Smiling. He's a good, good political type of guy. Like he understood that. You know what I mean? And then everybody was like, "Oh yeah, man. Okay, we can see it. We can see it." You know, and then he can get the crowd behind him. You know what I mean? I will say this: if they was going to trade 14, they should have kept Russ because 14 is the reason why we lost some of them games. And nobody really want to talk about it. Him not running the routes. That's why I love sports media where some of them receivers can say, "Hey man, he ain't do what he was supposed to do." That's why that guy was able to intercept that pass because he didn't run the route he was supposed to. So that guy could bite on him. You know what I mean? So I thought 14 was. I thought he was great. I thought he was a freak alien like Travis Hunter, but it was some mental stuff going on there. So if you was going to do that, you should have kept Russ. Anyway, sorry, I told you I didn't want to talk about him.
Oh,
you know?
He Dallas problem, and hopefully like he did that Christmas Day game. Hopefully he'll be late for that matchup against Washington, and so hopefully he'll be just as late as he was last Christmas.
Thank Coach. I needed that. I needed that right there.
So trust me. I mean, hey, like I said, it's Dallas' problem now. Hey,
right.
They do what they need to do. They kick the tires on him all they want. If they want to, if you have a good year, hey, they'll spend the money on him if they got the money. Because at this point, I know they got to sign Michael. So, I mean, hey, that's Dallas' problem at this point. You got DK. So I'm like, hey, yeah, and the only thing, if Aaron Rodgers, I'm telling you, if he ain't signed up by Memorial Day, the ship is sailed.
Right.
That's just like you waiting for a yellow bone to text you back saying Merry Christmas. Dude, it's Easter. She never text you back. It's Easter, dog. Just give it up. Because if he ain't in the facility by Memorial Day, don't even worry about it. And that's next week. Yeah, so if he ain't there the next 10 days, ain't no pay. No, that's being a jackass if you wait for him.
He like, man, she gonna hit me. It's Easter too. Shoot, nope. She a yellow bone. It's Easter. Them Easter colors.
All right, yep. Yeah, you'll be waiting forever. You'll be waiting forever. Yep, you'll be waiting forever. Just like the Chargers winning the Super Bowl, you could be waiting all your life. But yeah, so we'll put a bow on tonight's show. We'll go around the horn, social media and upcoming projects. What you got going on, X? What you got?
Well, nothing really. Like I said, Tuesday night, all I got is the Richmond Spiders baseball game Sunday, daughter's graduation Saturday. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, man.
And then social media, my Twitter handle is X_J_senior. IG is game on image with an X. That's about it.
All right. What you got, Mal?
DT Morgan, 78 Instagram, Sean Morgan Facebook. Great show. X, man, it was a pleasure. Even better that you was a Lions fan, so we couldn't dive in. It was as much as where I wanted to, you know what I mean? But man, great show. For real. Great show. I'll be here next week, either Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whenever the legendary icon of Couch Coach give me the okay.
Yeah, it'll probably be Wednesday. Because I know we'll discuss that. But yeah, it's probably more likely Wednesday. But yeah, man. But
can I say one more thing? Can I say one more thing before you move on? I just want to say, if you watched the game, I watched this on Tuesday. Your boy Maui was right. You see, Jaylen Brown and them boys went out there and balled, didn't you? I said he had the real. I said he needs to step up, and he went out there and balled. I think that I think it could have been easy to be a Knicks throwaway game, but deep down, honestly, they are the champions. You know what I mean? And maybe he knows how to motivate them better than the actual captain. So I just want to throw that out there just so I could be my petty and throw my shot.
Yeah, man. And man. So like you said, X, so this baseball season get ready to wrap up, and Richmond beat the mess out of VCU last week. I was like, come on, man. I guess they're getting a get back from basketball. So I mean,
yeah, pretty much.
Because this is almost like it's in reverse, because VCU, what your neighbor said, they're struggling. So definitely you shout out to them. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram under Couch Coach Live. Also the website couchcoachlive.com, and also the podcast anywhere you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, with there as well, and then also the YouTube page, Couch Coach Live. Man, we'll catch you guys next week. This wraps up episode 341, and we'll catch you guys on 342. And we're out.
You're welcome.